Let's just dive right into this. Welcome to today's explainer. We are going to do something pretty incredible today. We're going to zoom way out to look at the massive, honestly incomprehensible structures of the universe, and then we're going to zoom right back in to see how that grand scale shapes our personal purpose and daily choices. We're pulling all of this directly from a really fascinating educational module that bridges physical science with philosophical meaning. It's going to be a great ride, so let's get into it.
Here's the quick game plan for our explainer. First, a welcome to the cosmos. Then, the 3 types of galaxies. Third, we'll check out the Milky Way neighborhood. And finally, we'll wrap up with science, morality, and peace. We're hitting the what, the how, and the why of our universe.
Welcome to the cosmos. Let's start with the what by looking at the incredibly grand scale of the universe. You know, when we look up at the night sky, it's super easy to think of space as just this empty void sprinkled with a few shiny dots. But as the source data reveals, the reality is far more structured and just unimaginably vast.
So what is a galaxy? Well, a galaxy isn't just a handful of stars. It's a giant, awe-inspiring system. We are literally talking about massive structures that can hold billions, yes, billions of stars. And they're all bound together by gravity, alongside these vast, swirling clouds of gas and dust. Think of it as the fundamental building block of the macroscopic universe.
Moving right along to section 2, 3 types of galaxies. Now that we know what a galaxy actually is, let's look at how scientists categorize these massive systems. Because, spoiler alert, they don't all look the same, and they definitely don't behave the same way.
When scientists look out into the deep cosmos, they primarily organize galaxies into 3 distinct categories based on their unique shapes and characteristics. We've got spiral galaxies, elliptical galaxies, and irregular galaxies. And each type tells a totally different story about its age, what it's made of, and its cosmic history.
Let's contrast the first 2. On one side, we have spiral galaxies. These are your classic, picturesque galaxies. They feature beautiful, winding arms radiating out from a bright central bulge. On the flip side, we have elliptical galaxies. These guys are much smoother, kind of oval-shaped. But the key difference isn't just how they look. Elliptical galaxies are usually made up of older stars, and crucially, they contain way less gas and dust. That basically means their star-making factories have mostly shut down.
And then we have the irregular galaxy, which brilliantly illustrates the chaotic, dynamic side of space. Unlike the neat spirals or those smooth ellipticals, irregular galaxies are total wildcards. They have absolutely no defined, regular shape. Why? Well, it's because they're often born from massive cosmic collisions or intense gravitational interactions between other galaxies that just pull them completely out of shape. It's like a real-time snapshot of cosmic forces at work.
To summarize this, let's look at some real-world examples. For a spiral galaxy, look no further than our very own Milky Way. For an elliptical galaxy, we have M87. That's an ancient, smooth galaxy famous for containing a massive black hole right at its center. Crazy, right? And for our irregular example, we can look at the Large Magellanic Cloud. It's a small, neighboring galaxy with uneven gas clouds, making it a perfect laboratory for scientists to study new star formation. All right, section 3, the Milky Way neighborhood. Let's zoom back in from the deep vastness of space and find Earth-specific address in the universe. We've looked at the different types of cosmic cities out there, so let's take a closer look at our own hometown. As we just mentioned, our home, the Milky Way, is a classic spiral galaxy. Fun fact, absolutely everything you can step outside and see with your naked eye in the night sky, all of those individual stars belong right here to our Milky Way. It's this massive, swirling disk of starlight and energy.
Now, what's really interesting here is the contrast. Even though the Milky Way is incredibly vast and packed with billions of stars, Earth isn't right in the middle of all that chaos. Actually, our solar system is safely tucked away in a small solar neighborhood on one of the outer arms, far from the crowded, intense center of the galaxy. It really highlights how specifically placed and, well, special our cosmic home is.
So, you might be wondering, why does knowing our exact place on an outer arm even matter? Well, it's actually a huge deal for astronomy. By understanding our vantage point, scientists can accurately map the locations of other stars around us, they can predict how things are moving in the grand cosmic dance, and precisely calculate the exact right direction to point our massive telescopes. It's literally the ultimate "you are here" map that guides all of space exploration.
Which brings us to section 4, science, morality, and peace. You see, understanding our physical place in the universe is just the beginning. The source material we're unpacking today doesn't stop at physical science. It asks the ultimate why. Why does knowing all of this actually matter for our personal, daily lives?
But hey, before we tackle the big picture philosophy, let's do a quick homework check. Do you remember the specifics of our cosmic neighborhood from just a minute ago? What type of galaxy is the Milky Way, and where exactly is our solar system located within it? If you said the Milky Way is a spiral galaxy, and that we are tucked safely away on an outer arm far from the center, you hit the nail on the head. Keeping those facts in mind is absolutely crucial to anchor the philosophical concepts we are about to unpack.
The educational module we're exploring integrates this scientific wonder with a biblical perspective. It uses a quote from Psalm 8:3 to make a distinct point. The idea is that looking at billions of stars and understanding the sheer scale of galaxies puts our daily human problems into a massive perspective. The source argues that this cosmic scale shouldn't make us feel insignificant, but rather it should fill us with awe, reminding us that we are individually known and intentionally placed in this specific solar system.
And this directly connects to the educational philosophy presented in the source, specifically the heroesmartacademy Godly Learners series. The core tenet outlined here is that education without morality will hurt. The lesson explicitly questions the value of being incredibly smart and highly educated in the sciences if a person just continues to make bad choices due to a lack of a moral compass. So, it argues that scientific knowledge and morality really need to go hand in hand.
The lesson concludes its framework by stating that when we combine our intense scientific exploration of these massive galaxies with a spiritual mindset, we achieve something greater than just raw data. Citing Romans 8:6-7, the source material asserts that intertwining biblical morality with education actually yields a promise of true peace of mind. It posits that this holistic approach is what truly benefits the learner in the end.
So we've traveled all the way from the outer reaches of irregular colliding galaxies to the quiet outer arm of our own Milky Way, all the way down to the moral choices we make every single day. As you look up at the vast night sky tonight, I want to leave you with this provocative thought. How does combining your scientific education with a strong moral compass change the way you view your everyday choices? Thanks for joining me on this explainer, and keep looking up.